Hey everyone, welcome back to Game and Update. You may remember in the last episode I put this McDonald's bag over my head to conceal my identity in an attempt to boost my YouTube career, vowing only to remove it once this channel reached 300 subscribers. Well, I gotta hand it to the New Game Plus army because it took you guys only 2 short months to get us the dozen subscribers that we needed in order to get this channel up to 3 bills. Now, true to my word, I've kept this bag over my head for the last 2 months, and while it has single-handedly destroyed my social life, I think it was worth it because we are now the 8,512,156 ranked channel on YouTube. That means there's only roughly 8 million channels between us and a viable YouTube career. Now, on the back of this channel's newfound success, I'm prepared to remove this bag and reveal my identity to the digital world. Can I get a drum roll, please? Okay, so now hold the phone, everybody. Let me just explain myself. I know that many of you were excited to finally find out my true gender and skin color, but unfortunately, I can't reveal my identity just yet. But for good reason, because I have chosen to conceal my identity in solidarity for the Hong Kong protests. Now, you may have heard about the Hong Kong protests in the news these past few months. What started as a protest against a fugitive extradition bill that sought to allow China to pull Hong Kong residents into its mainland to be tried for crimes has transformed into a massive, months-long protest against China's general encroachment on Hong Kong's autonomy. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, Wes, what does this have to do with video games? This issue is purely political. Well, that's where you'd be wrong, because in the modern era, everything is politicized. If you're a celebrity or a major brand name operating in America, you can't afford to not weigh in on totally irrelevant political issues. And don't think that avoiding the issues can help you either, because not commenting on politics can be just as damaging. I mean, the fact of the matter is, us millennials, we're just too woke to buy something without first knowing what that company's marketing division thinks of today's hot-button political issues. I can't buy a Pepsi until I know what their stance on abortion is. I'm not gonna buy any Downy detergent until I hear what the Downy Bears' plan is to withdraw from the war in Syria. And if you want me to buy your Fruit Loops, then I'd appreciate it if you had Toucan Sam come out and lecture me on my toxic masculinity. So politics is in everything, and video games is no exception. And once the subject of the Hong Kong protests infiltrated both sports and entertainment, I knew it was only a matter of time before this subject would be thoroughly and responsibly broached by the great minds that make up the video game industry. As fate would have it, Activision Blizzard would end up taking the bullet during a Hearthstone Grandmaster tournament when a player named Blitzchung voiced his support for the Hong Kong protests during his post-victory interview.
你就讲完那8个字，然后导播我们就结束，我们就什么也都不要聊了。然后你随时可以开始，头先低下来。
光复香港，时代革命。
The broadcast quickly cut away from the interview, and the recorded video was later pulled offline. 2 days later, Blizzard announced its decision to permanently suspend Blitzchung, strip him of his prize winnings, and fire the 2 Taiwanese casters that hosted the interview. Now, whether it's fair to Blizzard or not, when Blitzchung made that statement, a line was drawn in the sand, and Blizzard had the chance to stand with or against the people of Hong Kong. Honestly, there's likely an infinite number way Blizzard could have handled this situation that could have at least maintained the appearance of neutrality. But Blizzard's decision to enact what can only be described as a public relations scorched earth strategy gave the appearance that Blizzard, for fear of a loss in market share, sided with China instead. I mean, I personally can't believe it. I mean, a company putting profit margin ahead of human rights? How un-American can you get? And I'm sure that if any other major video game publisher was put in the same situation, they totally wouldn't have made a similar call. And, you know, quite honestly, I've just been looking for an opportunity to shit on Blizzard ever since Overwatch jumped the shark with that dumbass janky rat character. Fucking stupid-ass rat-looking motherfucker. Fuck out of here, that I ain't fucking no rat. With Blizzard's major annual convention, BlizzCon, coming only weeks after the controversy, Blizzard's backlash culminated in a pro-Hong Kong protest mounted outside the convention center at Anaheim, California.
We are concerned about democracy. We're not concerned about gaming. However, this issue brings the 2 things together.
We heard about the protests and we support the protests, especially in Hong Kong. I know the protesters are protesting for independence and some sovereignty over their government.
Now, granted, seeing an excited neckbeard in a kigurumi probably isn't an uncommon sight at a video game convention, but these protesters are making waves in the community and they're spreading the word of this increasingly more common and unsettling business practice of conforming products and values to satiate the authoritative regulations of the Chinese government. So at this point, the controversy is too big to ignore, and Blizzard's CEO, J. Allen Brack, decides to come out on stage and kick off the convention the same way that any socially responsible company should, with an apology.
You know, Blizzard had the opportunity to bring the world together in a tough Hearthstone esports moment about a month ago, and we did not. We moved too quickly in our decision-making, and then, to make matters worse, we were too slow to talk with all of you. When I think about what I'm most unhappy about, there's really two things. The first one is we didn't live up to the high standards that we really set for ourselves. And the second is we failed in our purpose. And for that, I am sorry, and I accept accountability. So what exactly?
Okay, so maybe apology was a little too generous. That was really more of a vague statement of regret. You didn't actually articulate anything that you felt like you did wrong. And I'm sorry, but did you write an applause break into your apology statement?
And for that, I am sorry, and I accept accountability. So what exactly?
Oh my God, you did. Listen, this isn't a political stump speech, buddy. You're supposed to be apologizing for accommodating the whims of a communist anarchy, not half crying about how difficult it is to sit on the fence that you're sitting on. Well, if you thought that the people at BlizzCon would be so easily swayed by this limp-wristed, textbook corporate non-apology, well, then you'd be exactly correct. Shortly thereafter, Blizzard announced Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4, and in the wake of this excitement, it appears even the internet is happy to let bygones be bygones. You know, a lot of people said that having BlizzCon so shortly after this controversy was bad timing for Blizzard, but I think it couldn't have been more perfect. Think about it, if you're a drug dealer with a PR problem, what better way to squash it than to invite all your biggest addicts to this huge crowd and then come out on stage and say, hey, we understand that some of you guys are upset about something that we did, and it's super unfortunate that you feel that way, but how about crack cocaine 2 and PCP4? I mean, I just don't get it. I mean, it's like, am I the only one who cares anymore? And why is Blizzard so obsessed with keeping China happy? I mean, how much of the market can they possibly control? You know, let's find out. Hold on, $27.5 billion? That's even more than America. Well, what gives? Nobody told me they had money, not this kind of money. I mean, this changes the math a little bit. I mean, what am I doing trying to get all this white people money? That's a fool's errand. I mean, maybe Blizzard's onto something here. I mean, they're showing me that I can cater my product to the Chinese market and still retain the Americans. Okay, all right, everyone hang tight. We're gonna go to a commercial break for a minute, and when we return, we're going to attempt to think more globally. We'll be right back.
改变只需一颗俏比洗衣溶珠，俏比全国招商热线400-800-5086。
欢迎大家回到展会。在商务休息期间，我很幸运能够有机会对香港的抗议活动进行自我教育，并得出结论： 他们非常糟糕。香港人民应放弃自己的独立，而由我们伟大的领导人习近平主席接任。竞评我认为习近平总统取消任期限制真是太酷了，从而以表示您对中国的忠诚。愿上帝保佑中华人民共和国，愿上帝保佑习近平主席。再见。
Okay, so I promised that I would give a shout out to everyone that subscribed between the last video and this one, and I apologize that it's been 2 months in between episodes. I've been in between internet service providers because I was unable to find one who perfectly conformed to my political stance on the North American Free Trade Agreement. True to my word, I'm going to shout out everyone that's subscribed since the last episode, so here we go. So thank you, Manio666, Frazi PL, I assume that stands for place. Paul Salmon, most Canadian name I think I've ever heard. XX Goalie XXX, thank you so much. Miles Pillow, thank you very much. Jonah Henthorn, appreciate it. Apex Lion, like your logo, very cool, thanks for the sub. Len Polestina, I assume you're European or of European descent, not that that matters, but I just don't have much to work off here. Trying to rip off your names and it's not going great. Sensi Trees Entertainment, thank you so much for your sub and for leaving the comment. The Mastors, appreciate you subscribing, thank you so much. Mark of Cain, appreciate your sub, sir, thank you so much. And if I misgendered you, I apologize for that. Monteus M, appreciate your sub, don't know what you're doing creeping in the darkness like that. If I saw you hanging outside my bushes, I'd probably call the cops, but happy to have you be a part of this community. Neck Widimnimis, change your name, I can't pronounce that, and that was a bad first impression. And thank you so much to Jake Fish, cool avatar, cool name. You should meet Paul Salmon. You guys would probably hit it off. All right, thank you so much for getting us up to 300 subs. That's so cool. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Really subscribe to this channel if you would like to see more episodes like this, if you want to see this channel grow. If we get it high enough, maybe CJ and I could do this full time. That's all I got. All right, see you guys. Peace.